G'day and welcome back to DreamHack Summer Open. This is the Oceanic region. We're into day number 2. It's Rooster and AVANT. At the moment, we've already seen map 1 be, I guess debatably an upset. It was Rooster's map choice, so there is a little bit to be said for that. But we move into Dust2 now, Pilsky, and things are potentially looking up for AVANT here. What's the percentage likelihood? What are you looking for a 2-0 here? Is it going to happen? Or are you on the AVANT hype train still?
I'm not really sure, to be honest. I think Rooster, if they start out on that T side though, and they're like all guns blazing, they get off to that really big momentous start like we saw yesterday, I think, on their T side against Renegades on Overpass, then that could really cause some problems for AVANT, because it seems like they're a little bit slow to start, and they're making some uncharacteristic mistakes. So you can't let Rooster have that streaky round count ahead, as well as have some of those rounds go a little bit awry.
Yeah, I feel like as well, that double up setup, which we saw AVANT trying to work, is probably going to work a little bit better here on Dust2. So maybe that'll be going for them as well. Not too sure what side Rooster's chosen to start on.
Should be T, I imagine.
I'd assume T, which might actually favour AVANT being on the CT first. I don't know. I guess we'll find out once we do get in. It's CT, apparently. Yeah. So there you go. So AVANT going to be on T first.
That's interesting because their T side didn't look very good on Mirage.
No.
Well, could look a little bit better on Dust2. I think we've seen Hugh have some pretty big performances before on Dust2, so we'll see how it goes.
Time to find out as we do head into the second map of today. It's Dust2, and of course this is the map choice of AVANT. They've got a bit of work to do, down 1-0 in this series. Rooster, as you have already told us, we'll start on the CT side.
Alrighty.
So let's see what AVANT have got for us.
Bit of an aggressive setup towards Catwalk for Rooster, at least to start things off. But no AVANT players really looking to get aggressive. They're just taking their time, holding the extremities, one towards tunnel, one towards long, now starting to group up in towards middle, into a bit more of that 1-4 sort of formation. All of them grouping to middle ASAP. He's getting a bit aggressive. He's armorless, so he needs to be careful not to overcommit here. But with this double setup on towards Catwalk, this is where the real action will kick off.
Or perhaps not. AVANT have slowed things down. They're going to go back towards B. It's a bit of a fake. ASAP ready and waiting. Netic, though, has done a good job. They pushed actually through the smoke. Danny G helps him out. This is going horribly wrong for AVANT. Chelios is there as well to find himself a frag. Well done from Rooster, and that is a very smart call under a high-pressure situation. Yeah,
they've done a very, very good job there on that CT side. They're not really forcing the fights. Very, very confident to just play back, rely on that crossfire in middle. Not a bad little attempt on that pistol for AVANT. I liked what they were going for, really showing a lot of presence towards Catwalk, then using that deep CT smoke mid to B, but Rooster just had no respect for that, pushing straight through it and causing them a lot of issues, and picking up that first pistol on the CT side is a really good start for Rooster. AVANT is going to try and force back and make something happen with these Deagles and the Scouts, and Chelios is just swinging across middle consistently. He's taken a couple of tags, so he's going to have to stop that for the time being. And in the meanwhile, AVANT starts to take some control of Catwalk, moving up there gradually. Netic trying to scramble back into position back on the site. He's got a smoke and a molly to be able to hold off that Catwalk push, at least for the time being. And AVANT going to be content to sit around with this map control. They've got a little bit of utility to get through, but the double push into upper is going to be the first point of contention. Blitz goes down. That's going to put a little more pressure on this T side to start to get moving, but Netic's expended his smoke on Catwalk, so this kind of puts a wrench in their plans. They don't really know where to go from here.
Another smoke goes down for AVANT, but Netic's just prepared to wait in front of it. In the meanwhile, ADK's found himself a frag in mid. Hazard does a good job to deal with Netic, and that is actually the A site kind of opened up right now. ASAP's coming across to try and defend it. Quick shot, headshot onto Hazard, looking for a couple more. Frags are coming out right now for AVANT. APOC in a 2-on-1. He's low on HP, but Danny G's given him the opportunities. In the end, it'll be finished off. M4 retrievable alongside him from us, so works out okay for Rooster. Off to a good start on the CT side.
Yeah, dropped a couple of guns there, but not too bad, all things considered. Up against a 4-spy, they drop 3 guns. If they can have a bit more of a cleaner anti-eco this time around, they're going to be feeling pretty comfortable heading into round number 4. As for AVANT, some flashes, couple of upgraded pistols being purchased. They want to try and get a bomb plant. They want to try and pick off 2 to 3 guns from this CT economy. Keep it nice and low and honest for the time being. push in towards long. Avant getting very close to Netic, who's going to bounce a flash off of that wall, but unfortunately not enough to save him as Hazza rounds the corner, picks him off blind. So now pressure onto Rooster, but they have Avant boxed in with these pistols, at least for the time being.
I mean, you say pressure. I don't know that there is actually too much pressure on Rooster at the moment. They look pretty comfortable. Danny G prepared to take the fight. Does just fall off and check short. That's okay. Timing works out for him. Hugh shouldering around the corner is going to be a free kill for him. And all in this, meanwhile, it's giving time for Chelios to just wrap in behind. The grenade stack lands right on top of Avant as well. And that has gone from bad to worse for that T side. Great round again from Rooster. Really ramping up here on Dust2.
Yeah. At the end of the day, though, taking 2 guns away with a pretty minimal investment for Avant, they're going to be quite happy with that. Now Avant moving into their first buy in round number 4. Going to pick up that AWP. Pretty good utility across the board from all of the players. Hughes actually, unfortunately, had to go down head armorless. He didn't have to do that. He's chosen to do that. He had enough money for AK and armor, but he's chosen the extra utility. He's going to set Sterling on this long angle. He's just going to push straight out, actually, to the blue bin. This might catch the CTs off guard as they're going to cross the pit. That's the freest kill of his life. A really nice opening for Avant here in their first gun.
Yeah, definitely something that they've been looking for. They weren't able to turn last round on its head after getting the opening, but this time, guns in hand. Much better opportunity for Avant. This is really stretching the defense, as you can already see for the CT side.
Yeah, going to have to rely on some of that individual brilliance, especially someone like ADK, though, with an MP9 trying to play from the doors. It's going to be very difficult for him to do anything around that B site. Smoke onto Xbox as well as a flash over long really limits Rooster's information here. And with Avant having this strong control over mid doors, trying to segment the rotations a little bit, they can choose to pick whatever they want at this point. Looks like it will be the majority of the players towards long, a bit of a spam and some utility thrown into B just to keep the rotations honest, and Netic getting picked off by Sterling means that things go bad to worse for Rooster here with only 3 players surviving.
Yeah, Chelios keeping an eye on the mid doors, but he'll have to take a look over towards A fairly shortly. Timing is such that Blitz decides not to peek through the doors. This has been a much better looking round for Avant. They've just really outplayed Rooster at every single turn. Blitzy does eventually fall, but even now when Rooster's going to try and save, knowing that Avant is into the A bomb site there, being challenged. That's a good shot from Chelios, but too little too late, unfortunately. Unfortunately, you can't take 2 guns through the round either, so he's going to have to decide which one he wants.
It's a bit of a technical victory for Avant there, just using that map control, making sure that they work together, that they hold certain parts of the map and limit the information that the CTs have, make sure that they can't push the extremities or get some unfair advantage, and they end up in a situation where they're 5-on-3 and they're pretty well aware of where Rooster can and can't be, so they can very much choose those high percentage plays to be able to close out that gun round. They're a very important one for them to do so.
Not enough to break the economy of Rooster just yet. ASAP and ADK sitting on a fair chunk of change. Chelios able to save his AWP through. Should be seeing something forced in by Rooster here.
It's going to be a bit of a shoddy buy, that's for sure. If they're going to go for it, you're going to have to see some Famises, maybe a Deagle armor or something. But when you do have some of those key players with the rifles, Chelios actually drops an MP9 as well. It's going to be a decent enough buy, but not exactly what Rooster's looking for. Especially if Avant keeps playing this slow style, it's going to put a little bit more pressure on Chelios to have some impact, because the reality is that Rooster don't really have some of the weaponry or the utility to play a much more spread out round. Actually going to concede this long control. It's a late take into long from Avant. They get that around 140, just delay it. And now it's their choice to slow things down, go for more map control and try and split the A site and pinch it, or they can choose to execute from this A long position. Looks like it's going to be the former, as they do Molotov off the car. They're spamming away, but with Blitz and Hugh making their way back through T-spawn, could potentially start to put some pressure on Catwalk. Whoa, Sterling's not even on his screen. That's ridiculous. Chelios goes down pretty much for free, and that's the most dangerous player for the CT side, and that's the go signal for Avant onto this A site.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Chelios is going to be too pleased by that one, but it is what it is. Netic's gone down as well. This round's fallen by the wayside for Rooster. I'd say they'd actually have to give this one up now and try and save those guns through, give themselves a better shot in the next round. Looks like that's not going to be an easy option either. Danny G with the MP9 is the last alive, and what has just happened there? Avant have blitzed away Rooster. And we're back to 2-3. It's certainly a different looking game than what we saw on Mirage. Already you get the sense that AVANT's starting to come out on top.
Yeah, they're playing a much more patient style. I think they have a much better sense of how to navigate their way through Dust2 T side here as opposed to Mirage, where they look a little bit shaky. You could see AVANT playing to a lot of their strengths. They're playing the map control well. They're making some fundamentally good decisions. That last round, though, that's rough. That's happened to me a couple of times in the past where someone's not even on your screen and you die on certain angles.
Yeah.
Just due to the way that the peaks work in CS and some of the netcode. There's a lot of factors that go into that. But I don't think I've ever seen a representation of that being so obvious on stream.
Egregious.
Usually on GoTV, it doesn't show itself
Yeah.
as much. It's usually on your screen, like in that first person. But
Yep.
that was ridiculous.
That was pretty ridiculous. I was about to say, like, this is going to be a big duel when Sterling walks around the corner, but he was already dead.
Well, he never got a chance to go around the corner. At least on his screen. Just that left eye, right eye peak dynamic in combination with the netcode gets pretty disgusting from time to time. Oh, okay, Netic. It's almost killed 2.5 players, and now there's actually a boost in this elevator smoke as AVANT are trying to recover this bomb. There's a lot of CTs here. Last two it is.
Sterling's got no idea. Oh, ADK's gone just a little bit too early. Hazard, free kill onto the totem pole. Oh, could have been a scary round in the end for AVANT. It's not too bad.
Definitely started to get close. Now Rooster into round number 7. Economy kind of scuffed if you're looking at trying to go for those double AWPs or get a lot of utility. Hugh didn't have head armor, which is why that looks so easy there for Netic. He gets a couple of dinks onto APOC and then just good, crisp, raw adjustment straight onto the head of Hugh. Head armorless gets that free kill. Regardless though, very limited utility here for Rooster and no AWP, which up against this style that AVANT's been playing is going to be quite hard to deal with, but a bit of a change-up for AVANT this time around. Looks like it's going to be this play in towards the big site with APOC trying to cut the rotations in middle, and Rooster is very much not set up for this. ADK doesn't even have a molly to be able to slow this push down.
Well, the smoke might just come out at a good time, but I'm not sure how much that is really going to help him. ADK desperately calling for the reinforcements right now, and he's gotten some help ASAP. Alongside a decent spray in the end from ADK, does manage to dispatch of 2, but he'll need more. APOC and Sterling finish the job. That's it. Job done for AVANT. They've gotten into the bomb site, and that more or less gives them the round.
I like that flash from ADK. Oh, they might go for it, actually. A bit of a gap in this smoke. Netic's got a smoke and a Molotov for the retake, so he could throw that into tunnel and onto the side. Danny G's got a flash. It could be done, but with no kit, they're going to need to speed it up a little bit here, Jordan. And Sterling picking off Netic is going to make this even more difficult. Of course, AVANT is well and truly on top of that one. End of the day, though, I really like that flash from ADK. He actually left-right click that from double stack over the wall, and with the doors being inverted now on Dust2, he threw it into the door on the left side, and it blinded the players. It blinds players in middle, and it blinds players coming out of tunnel, and he can peek from double stack. That's pretty ingenious. I haven't seen that just yet.
Oh, I suppose we're going to find out what more you can really do on this map as we continue to explore it after the change. Another rough one for Rooster here. Pistols again.
I think they've actually overinvested, to be honest. Seeing Chelios down at 1350 and a lot of Deagles being purchased up, I really want to see Rooster start to get onto the AWPs. And they're kind of hamstringing their economy, especially if they're not doing much damage to AVANT, who, let's be real, they have a lot of money already. What's the point of getting any damage done in a round like this if you're not able to follow it up with good guns?
So far, doesn't seem like they're going to be doing too much damage. Sterling, a couple of easy frags to finish that off. 5 on the trot now for AVANT.
Whatever's happened between these maps for AVANT,
Definitely.
great pep talk.
Bit of streakiness may be required now for Rooster to salvage this half. You know, we need to see a good couple of rounds for them to get that economy back online and even past that.
See, here's my issue with this, right? Chelios goes down to 1350. ADK has to drop him an AWP, and he's the B anchor and now lacks a molly and extra utility. Like, that's the player that you really want to have that. Hopefully that doesn't end up being a factor. Either way, though, initial pick. Sterling's been great at locking down these angles and punishing people. Doesn't connect, but the fact that that opportunity was even there is not a good sign.
Definitely, exactly. Can't keep giving those kinds of chances over because inevitably Sterling is going to hit one or two of those shots, and that can be the round really from there.
Chelios smoked off. AVANT not in a rush for the time being. More so playing defensive first 30 seconds. Now as we start to move towards the mid-round, they start to take catwalk. But Chelios, he's rotated around accordingly, but he unfortunately is caught in transition. Nice headshot from Hazard and Apoc combined. Puts AVANT in a 5-on-4 with catwalk control. Still totally in control. You can see even the two players on the extremities haven't budged an inch. They're waiting for this over-aggression. They're waiting for Rooster to get desperate, because once you start to lose a couple of rounds in a row on the CT side, you've got to start to make something happen, and that's an example of it. ASAP goes down in middle. Another peek from ADK, almost punished by Sterling, and it is. Rooster are just capitulating at this point. AVANT completely in control.
Yeah, they're taking bad fights and they're being punished for it. Danny G and Nedic, not much they can really do on this A-bomb site. Maybe get the kill onto Apoc, which will eventuate. Nedic's been pretty good so far when we've seen them actually get involved in the fights, but they've just been too little too late. I don't know what's going on for Rooster right now. Definitely not looking comfortable on the CT side of Dust2.
Again, they're kind of cooking their economy. Investing a lot in these scouts, in these deagles and armor. You need a save for this utility. Up against the slow style that AVANT's playing, you need those extra grenades. Those extra flashes in the mid-round or Molotovs to hold off those late-round pushes are the differences between giving yourself opportunities to pick them off in the mid-round when they try to take that map control, or stopping those pushes in the late round. There's a B rush. It's only a 1-for-1. ASAP hasn't been discovered though, and he's getting a little bit of work done.
How much of a difference is it going to make? Rotation has come across from Rooster, but who is the man with the master plan? Nedic, double kill as he comes through the smoke. Unbelievable, Rooster. They might just be able to do it again. Another quasi-force buy. And AVANT relying now on Hazard to salvage it. Oh, it's a quick flick onto Nedic, but he's still lost a lot of his HP, and Danny G will get the job done for Rooster. They needed something to bail them out of a really sticky situation, and that might just be it for Rooster.
At the same time, though, it doesn't fill you with a lot of confidence when a team wins with those pistols. It's good to see them get away with rounds like that, but they're losing the gun rounds. They need to actually, with this full investment that they've earned now that they've won that half buy, they need to be able to show that they can win in a more technical, longer, sort of drawn-out round in one of these gun rounds, because AVANT has been absolutely dominating those kind of rounds so far.
This could be the tipping point, though. There's a lot of work to be done here in the first half, and definitely moving into the second as well. Not going to be an easy win against AVANT today. A bit of info for ADK, and he does get a flash down, which is going to keep AVANT at bay. ASAP starts nicely. Big spray onto Hazard as well, down to 40%. Now he's going to pop a flash in there for ADK to peek off the back of as well. This is much better from Rooster. Good teamwork. Unfortunately, doesn't really go their way, but I like the way they were working through that.
Need to make sure that they don't over-aggress here, Rooster. Into this 3-on-3, AVANT can set the pace. They can be the ones to be assertive, and if Rooster are a little bit too over-aggressive, they could be punished for it, but at the same time, this could be the opportunity that they're looking for. Bomb could be dropped in middle here.
Blitz is just too sharp. Nedic had the opportunity. Didn't get the timing right. Now Sterling, low HP. Nice to fly across. Is Danny G just going to go through the smoke? He is. Blitz falls. That's the bomb. That's what they're looking for. Danny G knows that he's got it.
Oh, the
This
nade
is going to be so good. There goes Sterling. Goodbye. See you later. Apoc did so much work to get into the A-bomb site. Got all that info. Now he has to win a 1-on-2, but he can't. That was maybe a bit too close for comfort, quite frankly, for Rooster after starting so well. But hey, it's a round on the board. Hasn't done wonders for their economy, though.
It's a scrappy round. I like the way they held down B, though. They ASAP and ADK working together. Very good patience from ADK playing around that double stack once again. Can be pretty easy to just bloodlust and wide peek and overextend, be punished for it. And that's what the T's were waiting so long for, but he never obliges them and slows down that round for long enough to be able to put them in a situation to win it in that 3-on-3. This round is going badly for Rooster, though. Already ASAP's been picked through the door cross, and AVANT secured that long control.
Yeah, we've seen how big of a difference it really makes for Avant getting that opening pick. Every single time they've gotten it, it seems like they've won the round. Sterling playing a dangerous game there with Chelios, but I don't know that Chelios even spotted his head. Slow and steady for Avant so far, working their way up. Chelios is the sole defender at the moment, and with an AWP, the multi-frag potential might not be there for him.
Don't think he's looking for that. Just needs to try to get 1 or 2 picks.
Oh, this might be a mistake.
How often do you see that? Very disciplined for Avant, all waiting behind the smoke, just waiting for the over-aggression. And they punish it well. They've been doing that all half long very, very nicely. And they're going to put this bomb down behind the single box. And Rooster looks like they want to go for this save now.
Can understand it. He's making a lot of noise right now. But Netic pops his head up and APOC will punish. This could be dangerous. Rooster do not want to lose these guns, and I think they might just. Plenty of time still to find one more. Danny G is going to continue to put that pressure on Avant. And he sees Blitz trying to chase him down. This is going to be a close affair. Danny G will keep that M4 alive, and it's a good thing he does. But still losing 2 is pretty costly for Rooster. That's
Crossing
rough.
without the smoke for once. Unfortunate. Very nice throw adjustment from Sterling to hit that. Not an easy shot to be connecting. The man has definitely turned his performance around today.
Triple scout. Coming from Rooster here.
Yeah, I mean, their loss bonus is pretty crazy.
I don't mind it. Triple scout.
Avant very slowly taking that map control. Sterling holding it suicide, waiting for anyone to peek those doors. Chelios unfortunately flashed off the line, but Danny G doesn't make good with that opportunity. He had a timing to try and secure a frag there, but maybe if he overcommits, he's punished for it.
Chelios has set himself back up again. He's getting really aggressive. APOC's looking over the smoke. Here is a chance for Chelios if he continues to creep forward. Danny G's there as well. They've got no idea. Has Sterling seen them? I think so. And the opportunity. Oh, what? How's APOC hit a headshot there? I don't know. That was so close for Rooster, but it really just seems like that's a metaphor for this entire map. Rooster almost gets themselves in a good spot, but then Avant, something goes right for them. It's a nice couple of kills for Rooster, but I'm not sure it's enough to get them back in with a chance.
Yeah, they're landing some picks. Key thing for Rooster really is these last couple of rounds of the half. They don't want this to be a 10-5. If they can get it to a 9-6 or an 8-7, they're going to feel a little more comfortable heading into that T side, especially if Avant takes the pistol or something like that. Another pick for ASAP, 80k, locking down the cross here, trying to pick Sterling as he gets across the pit. The re-pick with the scout does land, and View almost going down as well. That's actually pretty costly for Avant. Look, they still have quite a bit of money, but with 2 rounds left to play in the half, they fully invest here. Someone could have some economic trouble setting into the next one. I think they're going to be fine, but we'll see how it all shakes out end of the day. Singular AWP once again, no double AWPs for Rooster.
Well, 2 very important rounds in the context of this map. 10-5, hugely different to 8-7. This doesn't look good for Chelios, but finds the timing. APOC just slides away. Rooster are going to know that Avant is in mid. ASAP's gathering that info. Just gets out in time, but he was spotted. And now, poor old ADK has so much to do. What are you going to do?
You can't do anything when APOC's feeling like this. Interesting, he's been on the entry for Avant quite a bit, and he's been doing some good work. Even when Avant's been having their difficulties on Barrage, the man's like running out Palace and multi-fragging pretty consistently. There's another example of it, straight out middle doors. And Avant secures that round, secures their economy, make sure they can buy the next one, although they probably would have been fine either way. Rooster trying to hold on to these guns. They can't afford to be losing these. APOC so sharp. The raw adjustment onto that suicide player. Taking another gun out of the hands of the CTs, who are already struggling economically as it is in this next round. Someone's going to have to go down to... Oh no, they're going to drop in 4s. Nedic's got that 5k. He had a little bit of extra money. If he was down on the same amount of money as 80k or ASAP, they might have been struggling for a bit more cash. But with his extra money, they're going to be fine to buy, actually. But sometimes you do see, like in a 3-on-3, like you're saving on the CT, it's that extra person who throws his life away. That means someone has to, in the last round of the half, go down to an MP9 or go down to a FAMAS. And if that's one of your anchor players and the other team decides to rush, it can be all over for no reason, really.
Oh, here goes APOC again. Rooster not too keen on challenging long. AVANT already have that piece of map control.
Yeah, with very little investment if you think about it. Handful of flashes and one player committing in there, that's great for long control. There you go, Chelios though. Dynamic as ever.
Needed to do something, didn't he?
Moves into upper, picks off Blitz. Now AVANT in this 4-on-5 are forced to respond, and it looks like the response is Sterling's trying to go for a pick in mid, trying to make something happen. The rest of them making their way out long.
Big spray from Nedic, but he does overwhelm APOC. Only just. That's aggressive. Good flash. Excellent flash from Danny G. And that's more or less won the round for Rooster. In the end, ASAP will finish it onto Sterling. A bit of a better finish for Rooster than the way it started. But is 6 enough, I wonder? As we head into the second half, it's 9-6 favoring AVANT.
back in the action between Rooster and AVANT here, as AVANT have got themselves a bit of a scoreline lead after a hiccup in that first map. But can they actually convert and try to reverse sweep this series?
It's a very good question, Pilski. We're going to find out. We're heading into the second half. It's AVANT up 9-6 and off to the CT side. Now, did have my concerns, actually, quite frankly, seeing AVANT on the T side of Mirage. I thought, maybe they might not have a good time on Dust2 either. But they certainly had a better grasp of what they needed to be doing, and they certainly looked a lot more comfortable there as well. Now the onus is on Rooster to show us something just as special, if not better, if they want to get a 2-0.
Initial contact is going to be on Hazard, and he's already picked off at least
Wow.
one head, if not another one. He's really ripping this T side push into the B site completely apart.
Well, you can't do much about brilliance, and that's exactly what Hazard has just displayed. He's got himself 3. Can't quite hang on for the ace or anything like that, but he's certainly won the round there for AVANT. Very sharp shooting from Hazard, and it's always when you see that first shot, that 1B to start the round off, you just know that it's going to go well for that player. And AVANT, well, they pick up a pretty important pistol round.
Yeah, exactly right. Those CT pistols, so important on Dust2. Get your economy rolling on the right foot, and if you're able to maintain that economy control, not lose too many guns, even if your opponent's going for these Deagle force buys and things of that nature, if you can manage that, then there's a good chance you're going to be able to get that double orb setup going, and I have a feeling that's going to be quite dangerous for AVANT. Either way, that's a beautiful start to the round. ASAP just rolling straight out long, and one being APOC, which is a big danger player on this map for AVANT. Now with this long control, Rooster chooses to slow things down. They leave Danny G over there just with the P250 armor, and the rest of them starting to move back in towards T-spawn and back towards that big side of the map.
Sneaky beaky like for Rooster. Got to keep your head down. Good way to live your life at the moment, Pilski.
He's actually pretty aggressive on Cat at the moment. Falling back now, but he got a lot of information that nothing was really happening in mid, and that's why you're seeing AVANT. They're sticking to the sites. You see nothing in mid, you really want to leave 2 players on that B site. You want to play towards long. It's pretty likely that you're going to see a contact play after that initial pick. And AVANT, they're reading this one very well. They're sticking in pairs. They're sticking together. But the onus is really on them to have that big multi-frag from one of these players to be able to make the impact possible for this round to be winnable for them.
It's going to really have to be a contact play from Rooster. They don't have too much utility to get them into this bomb site. There is the mid to B smoke, which perhaps is going to prompt Hazard and Blitz to put a little bit more of a presence looking in that direction. Hazard does manage to grab ADK. Now Blitz finishes one as well. Meanwhile, that bomb plant did go down, and Danny G very close to winning that aim duel. Hazard low on HP. Hero AK here for Chelios. Looks like it might be able to make a difference after the grenade already has. And boy, oh boy, that's a position to find yourself in. Natick executes Sterling. Back of the head. 10-7. Rooster not out of this one just yet.
Really, really good round from them. They pick up the Famises as well on those dealing players right from start to finish, getting straight out long, finding that peak, slowing things down, and just sticking together is really what got Rooster through that force buy, as well as some sharp shooting. And that puts AVANT in a very precarious situation now. They're going to have to go down to this pistol force buy, going to have to go down to that scout. Sterling just going to the P250 to be able to save enough to buy an AWP if they lose this round and end up having to invest in round number 5, I think it is now. On control again for Rooster.
Big stack on that A-bomb site, though, from AVANT. Not sure that I'd want to be seeing Rooster commit to this one, but I dare say they will. Blitz is pretty sharp with that scout as well. ASAP drops. Chelios with a good headshot, but already one down and a scout back in the hands of APOC. You know, you can't really get too excited about this one just yet. That grenade is going to finish Chelios too. AVANT looking for some revenge after last round. They want to do exactly what Rooster did to them, and they've finally scared Rooster away.
But on the other side of the map, ADK secured control of this B bomb site, and he's going to punish Hazard for trying to come through middle. Smoke being dropped mid to B as well means that he can stop these rotations. But the CTs, they've been allowed out. Hugh is very close, and ADK dropping the molly and trying to buy time for the rest of the Ts to join him, but they're going to have to fight their way through lower dark first.
Sterling's in a good spot. Danny G and Netick making a lot of noise, and that's a round-winning play from Sterling. 2 taps. And there goes Danny G, and there goes Netick. Good rotation across from AVANT, and they Managed to swing one back.
This is where we get into that
Forced
slippery
by
slope.
madness.
Yeah. I like to call it the clown fiesta stage of the game where
Yeah.
you just have to keep buying, keep force buying, and Rooster already, no doubt, they're going to be dropping some AKs over and come up with some kind of funky buy where 2 or 3 of them have AKs in armor and a couple of them have deagles, and that's a recipe for success. This is exactly what we're seeing. Danny G going down to a Glock, actually, unfortunately. Would have liked to see him with a primary pistol at least, but end of the day, 3 AKs on ASAP, Nedic, and Chelios. That's a recipe for success in and of itself. Limited utility smokes being expanded towards Xbox, as well as that lurk smoke, which prompts Hazard to spam that left side and actually picks off one of those AKs straight away, which is going to get Rooster to speed things up. But with this crossfire between Sterling and APOC, that's going to be very difficult.
Oh, well, APOC very low. Sterling dealt with. That's a great flick from Nedic. I don't know how Rooster's gotten into that bomb site unscathed, but it seems like Pilski. That madness, that clown fiesta might just continue for another round because AVANT are going to have to pull off a pretty hefty retake here. Blitz a double, and somehow ASAP's dropped to Hugh as well. Actually turns back on its head. AVANT now the ones that have the favor, but
no!
G, this is going to be huge. Blitz 1
It's
HP.
a Glock!
I can't believe it. It's happened again. Rooster continue the madness, 11-8.
How do they keep doing it? They lost Chelios straight away, and they just go for it, straight up short. And Danny G 1v2s with a Glock. What is that? What is this game? Rooster's just pulling absolute BS out of nowhere. Now AVANT, they're going to have to respond with the pistols themselves. Again, it's Deagles and armor. It's a scout.
Yep.
Sterling saving with that P250. What round is it? What year is it?
Round
Where
20.
am I?
Year 2020. Sometimes need a bit of excitement in my life, and this game is providing it.
I don't do it for you anymore, Jordan, do I?
No, never did.
Unfortunate.
What about Hazard, though, with the Deagle?
Oh, we'll find out.
I reckon there's a chance. Oh, I knew it!
No! What is happening? The Deagles are just too strong.
I just don't know what to say.
There's nothing to say. All you can do is react. Hugh, he's been flashed with the smoke. There's 5 alive, and now Rooster has $1,400 in the bank, which means it's their turn to go for the Deagle armor. I'm broken.
When does the madness stop?
It's always Rooster that brings this out of us. We're trying to do a good cast of the game, and they just decide, oh, I feel like 80 rounds of Counter-Strike. I feel like just force buys back and forth every round.
Oh, that was beautiful from Blitz and Hazard. Crisp. Oh, 12-8.
Ridiculous. Alrighty. Mac is very confused. He has a very confused look on his face.
I don't know if his microphone was live, but he just walked into the studio and said, what's going on? So if you did hear that, then we've ruined his thing. If you didn't hear that, well, I guess there was no point in me even saying this because you would never have known.
Rooster trying to get a mid to B going. ADK is the one with the smoke, unfortunately, and he's actually in upper tunnel, so they can't smoke the cross here. They're going to have to try to get across with just throwing bodies at it, and APOC out in the open. Actually picks off APOC. Now the crunch comes onto the B side.
Don't tell me it's happening again. Chelios has got an APOC. ADK catches Blitz. 3-on-3 right now. The pistols again.
They're doing it. Oh, it's going to have to be a retake from AVANT. Very few utilities left for them. A smoke, a flash, a grenade, and a Galil for Humongous. Not even a proper primary weapon. With the AKs picked up for Rooster, they're in pretty strong positions. Car, Heaton, and double, and under window.
HE for Hugh. Not gonna get the kill onto Chelios, that's for sure. Hugh leading the charge. He spotted out Eddie K, who's under pressure, but Chelios helps him out. It's a no-scope with the scout. You couldn't write a better script right now for Rooster. Sterling's got no time.
How do they keep doing it? They just keep hanging on. This is ridiculous. But now AVANT, they've lost enough rounds to get a little bit of loss bonus together. Do they take the save here? They're up 12 and 9. They don't have to keep forcing. If they take a save here, next round could be the round where they get that double off, they get the full utility. And that's where they do their best work. There's no reason to force here. They're going to take a tactical timeout.
It's over.
Yes, look, the T-side economy is bad. Don't get me wrong. They're very resettable, but I don't think it's worth the risk. If I was going to put my money on it, I'd say Avant. They take the save here. They just get into that double AWP. They allow Rooster that 10th round. They still have some room to work with. And they're, I guess, going to force. So they've decided they want to try and go for that aggressive play. They want to try and break the T-side economy. And in doing so, they can get that 13th round, maybe a 14th. But if they lose, then Rooster potentially will close this round gap, and this will get to a much closer situation. And from that stage on, it's going to be a little bit harder for Avant to get full control of their economy than they might have had if they take the save here. High risk, high reward play. Sterling saved a bit of extra cash in case it doesn't go well.
They're just rushing
Rooster's
B.
just rushing B. They don't have the utility to stop them, Jordan.
Blitz is there with an M4 though, and he might be able to do some damage. Big spray, but flashed out, can't salvage.
They don't have Molotovs. That's the problem with buying in a round like this, and Rooster knows their money's cooked. You can't molly this kind of a site. You can't have the money to be able to invest in that when your money's bad like this. And now Avant, this is a terrible situation. They haven't really done the damage to the T-side economy. They're going to have to take the save in this round following. They just can't keep forcing themselves into the ground. They're losing this round advantage that they've worked hard for.
I really thought at the end of the first half that there was no chance for Rooster going into the second, but they have continued to fight really hard.
They're playing a great game here.
12-10. Scoreline starts to shrink. T-side on Dust2. It's doable. Eco for Avant. It's going to get one step closer for Rooster unless they bungle this, but let's be real, that's possible.
Oh, yeah, this is where Rooster does their best work. Running into bomb sites against pistols. Rushing rounds, they don't really have to. And then winning absolute ridiculous rounds that they have no business doing so. That is Rooster as a team, but they've done a pretty high percentage here, I have to be honest. Up against a lack of money, it's a good play to go towards long. Secure that control just using the flash advantage that you have. And now they can choose to go for that high percentage of going up long, taking those long-range duels up against the pistols. Or they can slow things down, secure more map control. They've still got ADK poking around in upper dark. He's going to throw some utility over there, but it does look like Rooster's going to commit to this long play and Avant. A 5-stack on this bomb site. 2 key flashbangs that if they're thrown at the correct times, this could wipe Rooster as they walk up this left side. The information gathered by Blitz. He does get a dink as well. Flashbangs being thrown out.
Oh no! You see them all lining up. Hughes there, Apox there. It's happening again, folks. The madness continues. And Avant have pulled another one out of the hat.
It's those flashes and the information being gathered by Blitz so perfectly. And ADK, he was trying to secure some map control over on the other side towards upper dark. And he just gets his head taken off by the Deagle. It's the cherry on top. And that's a 13th for Avant. Rooster, they do have a bit of cash, but Danny G is going to have to go down to Deagle and Armor. I'm curious about what Avant is looking like now, because they should be in a very strong position winning an eco like that. Apoc gets a couple of MP9 kills. They get 3 AKs out of that, Jordan. Look at their money. If they win this round here, that is probably Avant securing match point, I would imagine. They're going to be in a fantastic position.
What's been really interesting about this T-side for Rooster is that they haven't put any premium at all on mid. Like, when was the last time you actually saw anyone going in mid, putting any pressure there at all? Very little up towards short either from Rooster. It's just been out towards both extremities, right through the B tunnels, right out through long if they're going toward A.
So smoke towards middle. Chelios trying to walk into this B site, and he does pick Hazard. A very nice adjustment there. And that puts the onus on Avant. They're in a 4-on-5 now, and Rooster knows it. They're still all spread out around the map. ASAP over towards that long hut. spraying away. ADK's holding this extremity. The rest of them grouped up in middle. They're ready for AVANT to try to get aggressive, try to take control of this round back. And now Rooster, as we get towards the mid-round, 58 seconds, they're going to take this short control. No one from AVANT's really pushed anything just yet. But Sterling, we've seen him go huge from this position so many times before, up against even better teams than Rooster, up against the likes of Order. He could be the one to save AVANT here. He's dropped off though. Molly's into mid, that sets up APOC.
Quick up into the A bomb site though from Rooster. Off they go, trying to deal with Sterling. Not an easy task, but the headshot is enough, and that aim punches Sterling into oblivion. Nedic finishes it. Bomb plant's going down. 3-on-3.
What's the approach here from AVANT? They retake that mid control and actually double up towards long and leave Blitz to go towards Catwalk. They might not expect both CTs coming from long after they clear up Humongous. Blitz now starting to jump up.
Just gets the timing right. ASAP's looked away, but in the meanwhile, Nedic is doing a number. Blitz has to try and salvage. One-on-one now. ADK knows exactly what he needs to do. Ducks down behind the boxes, waits for Blish to push forward. And Blitz is making a lot of noise. There is surely no chance for him here. Bomb ticking away too fast. Blitz gets one shot off before he dies, but that'll be the round for Rooster.
Oh.
And, ADK survives.
Even survives and picks up the ult for Chelios. And that's Rooster avoiding a very sticky situation of having themselves economically reset and AVANT pull very, very hard ahead in terms of the money. They haven't broken AVANT's economy, and they're still in a really difficult position in terms of the cash. But at least they put themselves in this position where this is the do or die round for both sides. If AVANT wins here, they break Rooster's money and get themselves probably to 15. If Rooster win, they close the round gap and they continue putting pressure on that CT economy. It's going to be very hard for AWPs to find their way into the hands of Sterling. Not even in this round do they have that. APOC's the one who's going to wield the AWP actually towards long. And Sterling holding on to an extra $1,000 in case this round doesn't go well. Constantly AVANT just putting this premium on, allowing Sterling to have a little bit of extra cash so that if things get dicey and they have to take a save, he'll still have access to that AWP. And ASAP, that's a beautiful opening. Gets rid of the AWP. Sterling going to try and recover that. But in the time it takes him to do that, Rooster, they have their options open to them.
That's dangerous. Sterling with the Deagle can potentially turn this one back on its head. He's got the AWP now as well. Chelios catches Hazard, and you do start to get the sense that Rooster might just be able to do this. They might just be able to get over the line against AVANT. Still, the round's not done yet. It's not even going to equalize things. It'll be 13-12 if Rooster do win it. Danny G gets the better of Blitz. Slowly but steadily, Rooster solidify the round.
That's a messy duel. Inconsequential, though, at the end of the day, as Rooster bomb down on the B site. Well aware where the CTs lie, and they're going to be aggressive. They're looking to try to hunt here. I think Sterling, Humongous just saved Nedic's life because Sterling shot Nedic through Humongous as he was jumping across there. Very unintentional. Haven't seen that before. If Rooster can hunt down these two last players. They've definitely pumped the brakes a little bit. They know their money's not great, and that's a bit of an overextension. Losing that additional gun is going to put a little bit more pressure on this T-side economy. Okay, trying to spam away. Doesn't pick off you. And AVANT, they will have to take a save here. Rooster. Damn, they're playing a great game. They're closing this round gap. This round isn't a foregone conclusion, though, Jordan. You're looking at an M4 and an AWP on players who can have some pretty big impact. Rooster definitely can't take this round for granted. They're going towards long again. Pretty consistent approach. Actually, it's just sending Chelios onto the angle, seeing if he can punish any CTs over aggressing. But as he hasn't seen any players in that part of the map, the rest of the T's start to join him. ADK not pushing through lower dark. Doesn't want to get picked off by that AWP. But with the two players pushing into upper, he's got his work cut out for him. He's surrounded from all angles on the CTs. Can't even get one, unfortunately. It gives over an AK. Rest of Rooster start to move up towards this A side, but AVANT looking to contest, and that's a bloody great shot from Danny G. Sterling's still over there towards that Goblin box, and he does get the pick on Nedic. Bomb dropped in the open.
Sterling in a good spot here once that smoke fades, but Danny G just goes one better. Great headshot again. Rooster turning up, looking sharp at the moment. ASAP, much the same. It's all onto Hugh, and 1-on-3. I just don't see it happening right now. 13-13. Rooster have finally managed to equalize.
Not only that, with 3 players surviving, their money is starting to climb a little bit, and it's so important to have control of your economy towards the tail end of the game. If you have your money broken on that critical round, it can be the end of things. Rooster, a little bit of extra cash in the bank. AVANT, completely broke, but a little bit of loss bonus. So Rooster winning this round, they can potentially put themselves on 15. AVANT might have to take that single save. ASAP, a nice
Good
spam
start.
through.
Hugh's got to trade back, and he does. Danny G's down. There's still a chance to fall, but it can't manage to trade back on in here. All over the place right now is AVANT.
They've secured that long control though, and that's a bit of a difference maker. Rooster, not really any semblance of map control. ADK probing around through unders, but the rest of them stuck at top mid at 1:20 on the clock. They're waiting for a push. They're waiting for AVANT to try to make something happen. Hugh still spotting that there's players in that part of the map, but he has very little support, and he's only on 40 HP. If he goes down, that could be the turning point for Rooster. Looking like an A split. It's only a matter of time. ADK making his way up catwalk. This is the go signal for Rooster. Pressure on Hugh trying to hold on to this long pit, and he's doing a great job of it. A double frag does get cleaned up by the nade, but Sterling on the off angle.
Hasn't fired yet. Chelios not aware of his position, but Sterling just not getting the timing right here. So Chelios is out. ADK's on the bomb site, but Chelios has turned around. He needed to wait just a little bit longer, and he would have had a free run in. ADK was nearly there. 25 seconds now. ADK is going to have to pull a miracle out of his hat if he's going to win this round. Bomb's fully in control of Hazard, but he can get a one-on-one. Not aware that Hazard's there, though.
Luckily, Rooster, they have the economy to be able to recover from a round loss there. If Chelios goes to an AWP, though, he can't drop an additional AK, which is going to make it a little bit harder. Actually, might have been better to go for 5 rifle there. It's going to put Nedic on a deagle. Actually, ADK is going to take it. Don't mind that approach. AVANT, not a concise enough victory to build the money. And with the tag on Blitz as well, that's going to make things a little bit more difficult over towards B.
Well, it's a must-win round, really, for Rooster, isn't it?
For both of them. They're both really broke. And we're right at the end of the game here.
Just what you love to see.
All right.
Everything on the line.
It is.
It's elimination point as well for AVANT, so at least Rooster have that extra map in their back pocket, having won Mirage.
Rooster, they've made their way up catwalk, spamming away through middle as well. Blitz almost dies to a nade there. Luckily, it lands in front of the box on B plat. Rooster, the clock's really running down for them here. A minute to go. They have some catwalk control.
There's no utility for AVANT, though.
Yeah, there's very little for Rooster as well. This round's going to be down to the duels, I think.
Who's been better in the duels, do you think, in this second half? It's hard to say, isn't it?
I think Rooster has been.
Mm.
But you're going into Sterling right now where he does his best work with very limited utility. These 3 flashes are going to have to be placed very, very well for Rooster. 35 seconds to go.
Well, it's going to be crunch time for Rooster. Really waiting that timer down. AVANT starting to float an extra player in. It's APOC coming from CT. Here come the smokes and the flashes. Sterling starts well. It's ADK down, but Rooster cannot stop. They have to continue pushing forward, and they have to deal with Sterling. But he's now found 2. Chelios will trade down. 10 seconds left on the clock to get that bomb plant. That's a huge, crucial duel. Hugh retains control of long. And now Rooster in a spot of bother. APOC trying to get aggressive, moving quickly. Chelios watching short. Danny G waiting for the push from APOC, but there's just way too much to watch. Danny G, 1-on-4, can't get it done, and AVANT will push themselves to map point.
Yeah, Rooster a little bit too tentative coming up short there. Not really having the pacing that they needed, and now they're in a spot of bother in terms of the cash, 3 to 3.5k. This is what I was talking about, Jordan. You cannot have your money broken on match point. So hard to recover from that.
Well, you say that, but this is Rooster that we're talking about. And we have watched a pretty crazy half.
Yep.
So
We'll see how they go. They need to do it twice. That's a bloody great start. Chelios, how does he do it? A peek onto Blitz in towards middle. That puts Rooster at a man advantage here. AVANT, their money's still not great, to be honest. Need to be very careful. Could have a little bit easier of a time, Rooster, if they win this round, pushing it into overtime. And this game deserves overtime, Jordan.
I think so. I really agree with you. Overtime definitely going to be quite a banger if we get there. But that's really down to Rooster. Danny G has an AWP in hand. Surely has to give that over to Chelios.
Most of Rooster still towards middle here. ASAP hasn't seen a single thing in Long Hut there on that extremity. They don't want AVANT to get that push through on the crucial round, but it's going to be this play towards the B side of the map. Sterling's over there with the AWP. Hazard with the AK as well. Pretty solid in this position, and on that angle, no less.
Definitely an off angle. That's a great time smoke as well.
Oh, Rooster's going to have to hit a really, really good shot on the way in here, or this is all over for them.
Well, good shots have been their forte on Dust2 in this second half. Bunch of flashbangs available. They'll go thrown through that smoke. Slow progression from Rooster. Hazard can line them up. He's only gotten 2. I don't know if that's enough, but Sterling might just put this one in the ground for Rooster. I think that's done. 15-13. ASAP. He'll fall. And AVANT, they hang on Dust2. What a map that was, but we still have one more in this series. AVANT survives. We'll be back in just a bit.